Hello, everyone. I
Hello,
decided that would be a very exciting intro with no sound. Welcome back to the wonderful world of live streaming. Hello, Lev. Lev is running the laser for us. We are so excited to be there. He is. Thank you, sir. We are so excited to be back with you guys again this Friday. Once again, of course, the Trotec live stream. We're going to be bringing you live streams every week to the very best of our ability. Starting this week with what we think is going to be a really, really cool stream. First and foremost, though, of course, thank you all for watching. Really excited for you all to be here. Kristen, hello. If you guys want to say hello in the chat, we would love that. Let us know where you're watching from. We are so excited to have you here with us today. And speaking of which, I'm very excited to have James with us today. How are you, sir?
doing great. Thank you. Best
Good.
day ever. Finally, we
Yes.
have a live stream that's not at 7 in the morning my time.
Yes. James is our salesperson based out of our BC office, our Vancouver office. And anytime you've seen him on here for the most part, and he has been a mainstay if you go back through our YouTube channel, and I highly recommend you do for those James streams. Please know that he is doing it at basically, probably 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
in a suit.
it's actually 8. Wearing the full suit. That's right.
Yes.
Just for you guys.
Exactly. The full suit and the Scooby-Doo pajama pants that you cannot see just out of frame. Yes, the overcast but reasonably warm Vancouver sounds wonderful as compared to the very snowy rest of the country. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not even angry about it.
There's a reason why the housing prices are so much here.
Yes.
We pay for it.
I don't want to bury the lead at all, though. Today, I think is going to be a really great stream and a really important one. Something that we really pride at Trotec are these opportunities that we get to work with customers right from, the word go. Somebody comes in to see us and we feel so fortunate that either they're expanding their current business or they are looking to start a new business, whatever it might be. But they know that, we have experts like James who have kind of done a little bit of everything in the past, right? And can be a wonderful consultant and somebody to kind of work with as they build out, whatever their dream might be. James, do you want to tell us, just to sort of kick things off, a little bit about, your background and maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up I was a professional actor actually for a little while.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't make very much money, which is why I jumped into lumber sales.
That's it.
I did the sales and marketing for a for a lumber company for years, like seven years as a tiny tot, which is where I've learned how to. That's where I cut my teeth, especially on like CorelDRAW and like Excel and programs that you need to do sales and marketing. At the time, there was really no Adobe back then, so Corel was it for producing catalogs and stuff like that, at least for on the budget that this mill had anyway. So I did that. I sold water in BC, the place where there's the water is the best in the world, basically. This is where I sort of cut my teeth in the sales game. Which kind of brought me to, and then I was a web designer. I designed web. I was like the 14th floor executive, doing art for a web company in like 2000. I owned my own engraving shop for many years. I worked for a laser sales for 22 years now. So I've done it all. I've maybe 35 years experience in CorelDRAW and 22 in lasers. So
wow.
I know one or two things.
We are very, very fortunate to have you here today to talk to us about gosh, man. So I swear that list of credits gets longer every time. Last time we spoke, I learned about the lumber sales. This time I learned about the acting.
I forget things. I'm getting old, right?
It doesn't show. Must be that Vancouver weather, I think.
It is.
So across, I can see definitely, obviously, when you're running your own shop, but certainly, in a lot of different places, how the skill we're touching on today which is ROI building, kind of comes in as a fundamental part of sales and marketing, basically at every turn, right? I mean, when I went to school for marketing, I expected it to be a lot of creativity and a lot of brand building, that sort of thing, and it certainly is. But all of that stuff has to come from a base of ROI and making sure that where you're investing that advertising money. Like you said, not everybody has a lot. If you're a sawmill in Burnaby, BC, you got to make sure you're putting those dollars where they matter, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or you get fired.
Yeah.
Wait, that's a little harsh. That's hard.
I mean, but hey, if you're going to start a company, like you and I have both started our own small businesses in the past, and it is harsh. Like, you've got to be ready for the real, economic world that's out there. But I think at the same time, if you're willing to put in the work, there's plenty of opportunity out there.
It's all about just plugging in numbers and sticking to what the numbers say. Like, if you start a business, you say this is how much it is for this product, and you stick to this is how much it is, this is how my lead time, and this is the quality. If they agree to the first one and you do the other two, you're going to get repeat business. I mean, it's simple as that. It's not rocket science. You find a way to advertise. I mean, advertising is a huge part of it. So it was Henry Ford who says, something like the person who saves time by not advertising is the same person or saves money by not advertising is the same person who saves time by stopping the clock.
Yes, by not having a business to run.
Yeah. So do those three things, then advertise your business. What else is there? So it is actually pretty easy. It's just a numbers game.
Absolutely.
And of course, hopefully you can have a lot of fun along the way. Don't do anything boring, and you'll be fine.
I think certainly it's just a matter of stressing that there is a lot of opportunity in the world to be had in marketing your business and what it is you do well. Just as long as everything, I think, is built off of that core of what are those numbers and making sure that it makes sense at the end of the day. If you can find X amount of customers for, in your case, I know you did a lot of name tags when you ran your engraving shop. If you can make X number of dollars or X number of cents off each name tag, you need to make this many to stay, afloat for this month, this year, start making a profit, whatever it is. Then from that point, then you can be creative to say, okay, so people who need name tags, what would be a great way to reach them? And, that's stuff that we'll come back to in future streams. I mean,
of course,
there has never been a better time in the world, maybe a tougher time either, but a better time in the world to market your business. I mean, with all of the avenues that are open to you online, it's incredible, right? But
the local manufacturing is huge right now. Like, it's what a time for all of us who own these machines. I see it everywhere. I didn't have that luxury. I
was going to say, you didn't have Twitter. Yeah.
I ground. Do you say ground or grinded? I don't know. I grinded.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard. It's way easier now. It's, with the internet marketing and social media. I didn't really have that back then. So you were basically knocking on doors, literally. Yeah. So, I mean, I still like knocking on doors.
I mean, hey, stick to what you're good at. I think at the same time, though, it's you exchange the amount of opportunity that's out there for the amount of competition that's out there. You know what I mean? But so I think maybe if it's all right with you, let's maybe kick things off here. We're going to have Lev in the background running some jobs for us that are based off of our demo menu. I'll come to that a little bit later in the stream here, but you guys, please feel free to stop us at any time, ask us questions. I'm going to be watching the chat for questions.
How do our customers get that demo menu?
Oh, well, so there's a couple ways you can get it, but chiefly it comes with the purchase of every laser. So when you buy a laser, you get a starter kit with a bunch of different materials that you can test. And then sort of in collaboration with that is the demo menu, which has yes, sir, new haircut. Thank you for noticing. In collaboration with that is the demo menu, which has a sample application for every single material that you have inside the box. So you don't necessarily have to come up with something you want to try out. Our troll lays, let's say, for example, we've got a sample application in there that represents something that a typical engraver might do with the trolleys. And then it's also further broken down with an ROI case based on that particular sample. So they're very general numbers, just to give you kind of an idea. Thank you, Lev. That's awesome. There's a sample one. So it has all of the different materials that you get within the starter kit. There is the trail glass, there is the fins. It's a little bit of everything. There's signage, there's stickers, there's Lev's going to do some beautiful coasters for us, I think, coming up here pretty soon in the wood there.
So basically, you're getting a free laser machine when you buy a demo menu.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it that way. Yeah, we have a whole range of demo menus of different setups that come with the free laser machine. But this is the set of beautiful coasters that Lev's going to do. The numbers are a little fuzzy there, but I will show you them here in a moment. Of course, you like. Yeah. But just keep in mind with the demo menu, it's kind of they're more general numbers, and we invite you to, like, they were more accurate, I would say, when it was published a couple of years ago. But the bigger point is, and I hope the focus of today's stream is to get you thinking about ROI. You've got this brand new laser. You probably have an idea of what you'd like to do with it. We want to broaden that horizon and say, hey, here's a bunch of other things you might consider, and here's how you might go about, building them into your business.
Yeah. Well, why don't we get started in the world of Bob Ross and the joy of costing?
Yes. Happy little costing.
That's right. Well, what I want to do today, there's lots of customers who ask me all the time, how much do I charge for this? How much do I charge for that? And I did a van video on that, it's a pretty good one. It sort of gives you a general thing, but I literally was driving while I was telling you this. And so it allows you to get creative. Well, today's stream, I wanted to do something really different and go right into the nitty-gritty details of it. Now, warning, this could get boring, especially if you don't think this is boring, then you haven't done enough Excel yet.
Yes.
And you need to
warning at the outset, this may contain Excel.
Yeah, I live in this program, so I'm going to get right into it. We're going to start with a nice blank slate, so I'm going to share my screen here. See you in a second.
Doug, just a quick shout out here too. James in the Van is amazing, and we do need more.
Yes, we do.
As the restrictions continue to lift, and as the world continues to work towards coming back together, I assure you, we are going to keep on James to keep those videos coming. He just doesn't get as much chance to get out in the van these days as he once did.
Well, it's been it's been actually quite a while since I've had like a trip longer than 20 minutes. In the van. Like, I haven't been able to get out of Abbotsford, for a while. So I'm now at the position where I can. Do you all see my screen now, Don?
Yes, sir. You bet.
Okay. Well, this is a lovely screen, a happy little screen.
And
now we have a nice, a freshly gessoed.
Yes, exactly. Liquid white.
That's right. Cadmium cells here. Okay, so what I'm going to show you guys is an example of me engraving 500 made in China wine openers. These are wooden handled wine openers. They have a little knife on one side and a little wine opener on the other side, and they're going to have different people's names on them as giveaways for the big wine function that's happening after COVID. And I'm going to find out what I really need to charge for these, because this is going to be an ongoing thing. They're going to be giving away these things for years to come. So this is the first 500, but there's literally going to be thousands coming to me. So I'll show you how I do it. There's so many ways to do this, but I'm going to show you how I do it, and it's always proven to be good for me and for my customers. So I always start off. Now, it starts off messy, and we get it pretty later. So I'm going to start off with all the constants. So things like driving to FedEx. I mean, if you're a small shop and FedEx doesn't come to you, you got to drive to dump the stuff off. The shipping charge. So these are all the constants, the things that are going to be
fixed costs,
fixed costs and fixed times.
Yes.
Like engraving time for each. Setup and art.
Materials.
Yeah. Jig making the jig. We could have unboxing, because each one of these is boxed. Now, so I said this to one customer once, and they were like, "We charge for unboxing?" Yes, you do, and you also charge for boxing them back up again. Boxing and unboxing, and then I always say a labor cost for just basically running the job is a fixed cost of $100 per hour. I mean, this is I just run that at $100 per hour. Driving to FedEx and back is going to be 30 minutes. If you're out in the sticks, let's say we're outside of Merritt somewhere where it takes us the 15 minutes to get there, 15 minutes back. The shipping charge for these 500 is going to be quite a bit. It's going to be $175.
So, sorry, no, you go ahead. You go ahead. I think you'll actually answer my question as we go, but I'll...
So engraving for each of them. So if I know that one of them is going to take X, how much is it going to take to do all of them? Well, we go into our Ruby and we lay out all of our parts in Ruby, and we click on that fancy little button that tells us how long it's going to take. Ruby tells us how long it's going to take, and we divide that by the amount that we're doing, and we can figure out just how long it takes to do your entire job. So we found out that it's going to take 2 hours and a half. So I'm just...
And that's just engraving time. We're not talking like setup and unload time yet.
That's just the engraving time on these.
Yeah.
We're engraving them really fine, and there's 500 of them. Setup and art. Well, we know that the art's going to take us probably about a half an hour to get right. Plus, we're going to have to do the print merge on the names in CorelDRAW. If you want to know how to do print merge, I'm sure we've done about 3 or 4 of these on print merge before. If not, we can do another one
next week for one webinar.
So that's going to take about 40 minutes. Making the jig again is going to take about 20 minutes. I'll just assume we're using cardboard, and we're going to throw the jig away afterwards, or else I would have put jig material in there. Unboxing, each one is going to take me, as far as labor goes, about 30 seconds. And boxing them back up is going to take about another 30 seconds. So this is my labor time. This is me.
So that's going to be 500 minutes just in boxing and unboxing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, this is something we do while the laser's going. But my time is worth $100 an hour as a business owner, because I can't be on the phone looking for business. I'm literally just sitting there boxing and unboxing. If you got a ton of employees and you want to change this number, but honestly, if your employees boxing and unboxing, they can't be working on art and stuff like that, making you $100 an hour.
Well,
100. That's what I try
to. Not only, I apologize for interrupting, but I was going to say, if you've got employees, their salary now has to get added to this list as well. I mean, yes, you might be able to split your, if you've got one more person, you might have twice as much, people power, but at the same time, you've also got to account for the money that you're going to have to pay that person to do whatever it is that they're doing, kind of thing, right?
I want my customers. I want my employees making me $100 an hour. I want every one of my machines making me at least $100 an hour.
Yes,
they have to be making me money, or else why are they there? If they're just a drain, if I look at my employees as just a drain on my as payroll is, payroll is the most expensive part of the business. No, it's the best investment you can make. You're not just giving people jobs. You're you're paying them, not using. You're paying them to make you money. If they're not making you money, then we have to think about why we have employees. But that's a whole other
That's why hiring is
step.
difficult. Yeah, you have to pick the
Yes,
right person.
exactly. So now that we have all these things like minutes, hours, seconds, and dollars, and dollars per hour, we have to boil it down into something that is constant. So let's boil this down. Let's boil all the hours and seconds into minutes. So we're going to go 30 minutes. It's 2.5. So we go equals 2.5 hours times 60 to make it minutes. This is 40 minutes, so it's minutes. This is 20 minutes, so it's minutes. So now we go 30 seconds times 500. So we go equals bracket 30 seconds times 500 parts, right? And then we divide that by 60 to make it minutes. 250 minutes of unboxing, and then we will just copy and paste that. Okay. Now we have all of our minutes. We can sum those. We can sum those up. There's my auto sum. 760 minutes to produce this entire thing. Now we can boil these minutes equals these minutes divided by 60 to make it hours. So it's hours. Now, is this correct? We now get to a point. It's a checkpoint in my costing. Does this sound right? Is it going to take me 12 labor hours to produce 500 parts? The laser engraving itself is going to be happening while I'm doing this. But I want my laser to be making money and my employees to be making me money. So let's see if this actually makes sense. 12 hours for 500 parts. So if we take these 12.6 hours and times it by my $100 per hour. Is this making sense, Don? Don's gone somewhere else.
Ooh, I'm sorry. I was in the nether realm. So far, so good, but I hope anybody will stop us if there's anything you'd like us to clarify. By all means, please do.
I can't see questions, so it's up to you to
no
help
worries.
here.
I gotcha.
So does this make sense? So now we say $1,200 and $12.66, and now we do a little check. We do $12.66, divide that by 500 parts. It comes out to $2.53 each. That makes perfect sense to me. And so we can start to look at that as my each part. Each part, I'm making $100 an hour for the boxing and the unboxing of the part. I'm making money on. I'm making $100 an hour on making the jig. I'm making $100 an hour on setup. I'm making $100 an hour on my engraving and driving around to deliver this thing. Okay, so now we can add our shipping cost. So we can add our shipping cost to this. So I can say plus on this one. So this is the amount of minutes or the amount of hours times $100 an hour,
the hourly rate,
plus the shipping charge, because I'm going to just charge the because I've already added the money it takes to go drive there. I've made I've made the extra money on my shipping, so I'm just going to charge what FedEx is charging me. I guess I shouldn't be using brand names, eh? So $2.88 a piece for these wine openers. So that is my cost for making great money for making $100 an hour off of every single bit. So you might say, well, in my market, there's no way I can make 288 on each of these things. This is going to be a logo and a name, a unique name on each one. I don't know how you could charge less than 288 for that. But if you want to start adjusting, so let's say the customer says that's too rich for my blood. We were hoping it would be somewhere around $1.80, and you're like, okay, well, let's now change our labor costs to $50 an hour. Yikes. Don't do this, kids. Maybe go up to 60. Let's see what that does. You say, well, at $60 an hour for everything, I'm making $1.87 each. Well, to me, $60 an hour isn't worth getting up in the morning for if I own a business. Obviously, it would be if I'm working today. I'd love to wake up to $60 an hour. But I'd get up out of bed at like 5 in the morning if I was making $60 an hour, not running a business, but just working. But as a business owner, you've got expenses to pay, and $100 an hour doesn't just pay for expenses. It pays for new machinery. It pays for, new projects and things like this. So that would be a quick ROI for somebody, right? Not an ROI, but a quick costing for somebody right out of their basement, just running a laser from their house. This is sort of a non-industrial part.
Now, can I ask you a couple of questions regarding sort of the costing process?
Yeah.
So I guess first and foremost, I wonder where the cost for, how do you factor in the cost for materials? So we're assuming that this is how you would perhaps quote a customer, where you say, hey, I know you want to do 500 of this particular part. Here's a rough estimate. It would be about 288 for each one, and that comes to a total, et cetera, et cetera. How do you factor in the cost of materials, if at all, into this particular equation? And then B, how much of this would you then share with the customer? I mean, how fine grain would you typically want to show in your quote, as opposed to, would you just kind of want to give them a general like labor of X number of hours? So, it's $100 an hour, blah, blah, blah. Or do you want to break it down to show like boxing and unboxing and stuff, for fear that they might say, well, boxing and unboxing, like, why am I being charged for?
No, I normally suggest not showing them this. You don't show them this, because they will nitpick everything. Well, what if I unbox it for you? Well,
I'll drive it to FedEx.
Yeah, what if I drive it? What if I pick it up? You're throwing a wrench into the works when you do that. You basically say, for 500 tags, I will charge you equals 288 times 500. I will charge you $1,401.67. And that's it. No setup charge, none of this junk. The setup charge is all in here, right? We've already set this job up. And so you don't show them this, because then they can argue on every single one of these points and tell you this is craziness. There's no way it's going to take you 40 minutes to set up my art. I've already sent you my art in camera ready. Well, yes, actually it does, because your art is terrible.
Didn't you get the pixelated JPEG I sent you?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I mean, I'm digitizing your art. I'm doing all this stuff to make it great. So it's a real cost, and honestly, 288 for an engraved, unique name part is nothing. Honestly, here in this market, I'd be doing that, and they'd be happy with it.
And this is the thing. I got maybe one or two more questions, and I'm going to turn it over to some of the great questions I'm getting from chat. But
yeah,
really quick,
please, yeah.
Would you be able to touch off really quick on two things? Number one is opportunity cost. So you kind of grazed over the idea there quickly, but if you could just give us a quick idea of when you talk about opportunity cost, sort of what do you mean, and something to keep in mind when you're costing for like, why wouldn't you want to go down to $50 an hour? Hey, I'm trying to run a business. And then the other part I wanted to ask you about is Oh gosh, I've lost my train of thought. Well, start on opportunity costs, and I'm sure it'll come back to me.
Yeah, I like to call it lost opportunity cost myself,
Yes. Okay.
because when you're unboxing 500 wine openers, you're not answering the phone. Well, maybe you are, but then you're pausing your unboxing, so you literally can't answer the phone and unbox at the same time.
Yeah.
You can't go and post things onto um, LinkedIn or whatever while you're unboxing. You can't call customers. You can't go out for lunches with customers. Remember doing that? That was always fun. Um, you can't do these kinds of things while you're unboxing. So you are literally not gaining anything, no opportunities while you're unboxing these things. Now,
Mhm.
let's say you say, but James, I have employees to unbox. Yes, but employees hate boxing and unboxing. What employees are good at is keeping the laser running. If the laser's running, you're making money. If the laser's not running, or any of your machines running, you're not making any money. It's a drain. So while they're unboxing, you are losing money. And if your laser's making $100 an hour, or your dye sublimation, or your router, whatever, you're making that $100 an hour or more. In this case, it would probably be considerably more. But um you have you every time you do something other than selling a piece of gear, you're losing opportunities. So you have to charge this $100 an hour for lost opportunities in order to um say, hey, I'm actually making money. So
Yes.
if you're paying your employee $25 an hour to do the engraving, it doesn't cost $25 to box and unbox. That's the real cost, not the lost opportunity cost. And this is why some people you see online, you're like, well, I quoted that for like $4, and this guy went down to like 165. Um, just you wait. That person will be out of business real soon,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to take his business because they went completely belly up because they didn't charge enough for their product.
Either that or
Um,
the quality of product that they turn out will very likely not meet the customer's
it's true.
standards.
I have a customer who charges a massive price on absolutely everything, and throws product away daily because it's not 100% perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
And if it's not 100% perfect, it doesn't leave his door, and it gets done in like two days, not 2 weeks. And
Wow.
but I mean, this number here for that person is like $250.
Yeah.
It's a premium product, but people who need that product, the and he gets really premium businesses coming because of that. They say, I don't care about the cost. I mean, I'm making $1 billion on this project. I just need to make sure that I don't get dinged with a $700 fine for being late one day. And
Yep.
so that's where he makes his money. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody has the quality control or the gumption just to throw away a something that just took you know uh
Hours and
30,
hours and
30
hours.
minutes to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Um,
anyway.
I think of it this way. I hope this sums up some of what you were saying. Is just no matter what it is you're doing, like you said, maybe technically you could box or unbox or some of these items for less than $100 an hour, but
Hmm.
just keep in the back of your mind, no matter when you're quoting a customer, anything you're doing that job requires, maybe it is boxing and unboxing, maybe it is driving to FedEx, you're doing that instead of doing something that you could be making $100 an hour for.
Right,
So
exactly.
in that
Yes.
regard, you have to charge $100 across the board because it represents, you're not charging them for the thing you're specifically doing, you're charging them for the thing you could be doing, but instead I'm specifically focused on this task for you, customer, and I'm making sure that it's done to the best of my ability.
Right.
You know, and getting it done correctly for you. And yeah, Lev points out really smartly here, I think too. It's if you're selling on something like Etsy, eBay, any of the online marketplaces, quality and reputation goes a long way. No matter what your business is, really, but certainly, if
Mhm.
you're running a small business, a couple of good reviews or a couple of bad reviews can really hit you hard, in either direction.
In a world where everybody has a 5-star review, a 4.8 feels terrible.
Which is crazy, but yeah, it's true.
It's true. Like, you never see like 3-star reviews. I mean, the minute you have a 3-star Google review, you're
you gotta rename your business. Yeah,
you're done. Yeah. But that's a whole other marketing talk, is talking about Google reviews and how that works. But yeah, you had the quality is important, and the only way you can output quality is if you're making great gobs of money. Because listen, folks, Trotec wants to be making great gobs of money too. And so the only way we can be making great gobs of money is if you guys are making great gobs of money. We only profit when you guys profit, because, we really want to sell you materials. And so, by helping you out with this stuff, we hope that we can make you more successful. And, kind of like a farmer, he takes care of the trees really well, so that he can pull the apples off come harvest season, and then it'll grow more apples. And this is what we're trying to do, is grow more apples.
Absolutely.
Thanks apples for watching.
Yes. But just in case the Content ID robot is listening, not the apple, just apples, the fruit. I think this segues really great into a question that we have here from OCP. And I might get you to clarify, OCP, just to be sure that I'm understanding the question correctly. But they asked, is there any machine rate or just a labor rate? So saying, is there any rate related specifically to the type of machine or the number of machines maybe that you have to use to get something done? And then also, I guess, streaming off of that, it gets me thinking about how, again, not to be too much self-promotion. Thank you, Lev, for the like on the live stream. But I think, why we feel that Trotec is a good choice when it comes to an ROI calculation versus another laser. We're not saying it's always the right choice for you. Obviously, again, we want to help you do these calculations regardless of what the outcome is. But why does a Trotec typically make for a good investment, hopefully?
Yeah. I mean, and this is why if we were going to do the same product on a nondescript hobby laser, then this 150 here minutes, this 2.5 hours is going to be 25 hours. Now let's see what no, that's what it's going to be. 10 times slower than our Speedy 360 that I was doing this on. So can you charge $7.38 per part
for each wine opener?
You can't. Like $4 is a stretch. I'd probably start out by offering $4, but honestly, this is the reason why we get a Trotec, is because we can do it faster. We can charge more, because now, in order to get it down to that 288, let's see how many dollars an hour we're going to have to drop this down to.
I don't want to know.
$30 an hour.
Bit over $25 an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, yeah, we're probably $35 an hour. I'm not going to spend all of my time, but about $35 an hour to get to that same thing, because you're using a super slow laser, taking 1,500 minutes to do these. And honestly, guys, this is exactly how long it is, because I actually own in our projects school, we have to have a kind of a homeschool project school downstairs. We actually own one of these
nondescript
silly little
hobby units.
Nondescript hobby units, because that's what the school owns. And so I have intimate knowledge with this thing, and that's exactly how long it's going to take. It is a 10 times slower engraving than on my Speedy 360. So that's why. I hope that answers your question.
Well, they did further clarify here. I mean, it is very nice that you made sure that every young student gets to go home with a wine opener, though. That is really cool. But I think so. OCP did clarify. So they said, so they, you have to pay for the machine and the electricity. So they also charge, for all that outside of the labor rate, just like a genuine, running charge. Yeah. So exactly. So $70,000 in machine over, 5 years of depreciation, basically, right? Like.
Right.
Making sure that you factor in the cost of, because I mean, James is exactly right that, why we feel Trotec is the best on the market is that you can maintain high speeds while maintaining high quality. And you certainly, the price reflects that, of course, but I think depreciation and the cost of the machine over time definitely should maybe factor into your ROI thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so I put everything as $100 an hour because $100 an hour is minimum what I want my people to charge for laser engraving. Because I mean, at $100 an hour, if your things were running all day, you're making $800 a day, and you're making good money with it. But most of my customers are running up in the 150, or at least they should be. If you're not, we need to talk.
Yeah,
But
you're going to get a visit.
150 is where we need to kind of where we want to lie. That's because we can output so much more than your competition who's not using the beautiful red boxes. We're you're at with a glass tube machine or something like that, it's going to be so slow in engraving, and your dollars need to justify that you can output 10 times more. So you've got to be upping your labor rate. Like if you're switching from like a glass tube machine to a Trotec, it's time to relook at what you're charging per hour of laser time. But I generalized here, and I put $100 an hour because that's the minimum I would charge for these.
It makes it easy for us to do quick calculations and costs too here on screen, but
yeah,
feel free to adjust the basic formula.
Yeah, you could add everything up except for the engraving into this number here, the minutes per job, and then have another minutes per job just for the laser time, and then that would probably rise your, at $150 an hour, it would rise us probably to up around the $3 mark, which is perfectly acceptable, for this particular thing.
Val asks, and I think this is also a question we're coming back around to. They don't see the cost of the item to be engraved. Is it included within the cost, or is that a separate piece?
It was given to us by the customer. The customer bought that. So right. if you wanted to add that in, then we're going to just add that underneath here, because it's not a calculated. It is calculated, but I can calculate it under here too. So let's say they say, well, our shipment's bad, we need you to find these, and you find them for $4 each because they're nice and fancy. So you go $4 each times 500,
and then you can just add that into the
equals. Well, you can equals this plus this is, and now it's $688 per piece.
Mm-hmm.
You take that, times it by 500, and there's your total your total bill for the actual parts. You can just add that. You can add the parts right in there,
and that doesn't have to be hidden from the customer. You could just show them and say, look, I can source X, and to get you $4 each, here's how much it'll cost. If you're able to source them for me, then I can just do the engraving for this.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's something I actually would show the customer too. Like this is how much it is for the part. This is how much it is for the engraving.
Mm-hmm.
And you can show them that. I'm a big fan of having a single line. It's the less you can have them argue about, the better. If they go, well, 3,400, I was hoping, can I get a $200 discount on that? Yeah, sure, whatever, done. But any deeper discounts, then we need to start looking into here. Then you need to start saying, well, what if we get you to unbox them, and you just give me them sort of, in a big box unboxed, so that you can, and I'll give them back to you unboxed.
Right.
Oh, there. Now look at that. Our cost for these went way down. And so then they go, oh, well, then they start unboxing them and going, oh my goodness, this isn't worth it. Or maybe it is worth it. Like, look there was a huge cost saving there.
Depends on it. But this is where we come back to this question of opportunity cost, right? If you know what the actual cost per hour of unboxing and boxing is, even though the customer doesn't necessarily know what all the individual steps you're following there are, you have that in your mind to be able to say, I know I can give or take a little bit here if I so choose to, if they want a discount, I could, well, let me give you a break of $100 or, whatever it happens to be,
Yeah.
right? Because where you have that give and take.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Then you can go up inside here and say, okay, well they were looking for a discount of some kind. So what can I discount? And you start looking what's my easiest thing to start dropping. Um, and that's the first place I would go is the boxing and unboxing. I say, well, I'll unbox them because they're being drop shipped here. But I'm going to put them, in a I'm going to put them in a big box with a paper on top of each layer. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, okay. And then you say, okay, well, I can give you a discount of this much for doing that. And they're like, great. So you literally haven't lost any money. You've just gained a whole bunch of time.
yes,
So now you can use that time to go make more money. So really, when they're asking for a discount, you're not really giving them a discount. You're having it cost less, but you're giving them an extra job. Now they have to box them back up, or maybe they were never going to box them in the first place. In which case, you saved both you and the customer money, which then that's a plus for everybody.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so Real mentions here, speaking of trees, if I purchase a tree, open parentheses, Trotec laser, close parentheses, how
Mhm.
long how long may it take to pay for the tree by selling apples? Smiley face. Good question. It depends on the type of apple. The reason I bring it up, not only is it a good question, but I think I would like to stress the fact, and James, you tell me if I'm right or wrong here, but this basic process applies if you're doing individual name tags all the way up to if you're working, with a company building the pipeline and you have to make
Right.
thousands of little,
Yeah.
electricians tags, whatever it is. Like it's the
Yeah.
same basic thought, I assume, right?
Yeah. It definitely is. Let's do a quick one if time permits. I think it does. You
Absolutely.
know, my Trotec laser in this example is like say $39,000 in whatever market. I'm not even going to say which laser this is, but it's let's say it's $39,000.
Sure.
Okay, let's say we're making wine openers. This is what we do. So so this 12 hours of labor doesn't actually take 12 hours. This is where things get funny. um it really takes this plus the setup, jig making, and this engraving for each, because while it's engraving, we're boxing and unboxing. So um it actually is taking 2.5 hours here for doing the 500 parts. So um, each day, a day. So I write all my constants in first. Each day is 8 hours. Um, and so let's say all I'm doing is these wine openers. Like that's just my thing. I'm just so good at it. Um, and so we go and in 8 hours. So I can do uh, parts per day. So at parts per day, it equals these 8 hours. So we only want to work 8 hours a day because we like our family. Divided by 2.5, um,
Almost as much as we like wine openers.
yeah, times 500. Um, I can do 1,600 parts per day. Let's say like there are so many people in this world who need a wine opener. This could be name tags. This could be anything. But this is sort
Anything.
of a
Yep.
a short a short ROI. Like if we want to do another video on actual ROI for equipment, I think it's a great one. Okay, and then money per part. How much money I make per part? Well, we know it's 288, so I equal 288. Um, Now I go uh, money per day. Oops, four per day. No, money per day. Money per day equals this 288. 1,600 parts. This isn't very realistic. All those people who've owned lasers their whole lives are rolling their eyes like, yeah, I'm making 1,600 parts a day. It's good work when you can get it. It's $4,000 a day. And then we go, okay, so how many days per month? Well, I like to take all sorts of days off when I'm in my wine opening business, so I'm going to say 20 days per month. So that means
I feel like we're painting a very unflattering portrait of your business.
Well, no. If you're making this kind of money doing millions of wine openers or whatever they might
somebody out there is.
Somebody out there is. So I'm going to go equals $4,600 a day times $20. Now, everybody listening, this isn't the kind of money you can expect from every laser at $92,000 a month. Let's roll this back because it's just a ridiculous number. This is a real number if you could make 100,000 of these
40
things.
hours constantly all week long.
Yes. So let's roll this back to you're only doing 250 every day, and you're doing you're using the rest of your day to now let's say only 100 of these every day. Because you're using the rest of the time to try to sell them, right?
Yeah, or business development, like you said, finding that other work for yourself.
Right. So as you see, you can start to adjust this to say, okay, well, as you figure out how many you can sell per day. Let's say I can sell 250 of these across Canada per day. You're making 14,400 per month on this. Excellent stuff. Now we go ROI. So this is how many months is it going to take to pay my laser off? So you're just this is just you working by yourself. This is you don't have any you're working in your basement without employees.
Yeah, you're clocking out exactly at 5:01 every day, and
yeah, you are not. You're just putting all your money into your laser here. So there, as I said, we can do another video on a real ROI, but this is just a quickie. We take the cost of the laser and divide that by our monthly income, and that comes out with 2.71 months. Well, it's pretty awesome. Of course, I mean, if you're working hard enough to do 200 to sell 250 of these every day, every single day, then you're probably using some of this money to live off of, right? So
yes. And pay your, like you said, like we had the very good point, earlier in the stream, like OCP, I believe, was mentioning about pay for electricity, pay for rent, pay for. I mean, running your machine isn't free either, right? For you, kind of thing. You have to,
you have
to bear that in mind.
But now we just go this. Maybe our expenses are even more because we have to pay for all sorts of stuff. Maybe there's $7,500 are expenses. This is just somebody working out of their basement. Now we go this. Oops. Take this 14,000. We minus our expenses, 7,500 off. We have that. We go equals the cost of the laser divided by our real number. That's more like 5.6 months. Now it's still pretty extreme as far as I'm concerned. I like to see. Well, this is in.
I mean, it would be unusual for someone to be able to literally invest every other penny their business makes back into the payoff of their laser, but it's certainly not, it's certainly potentially doable. It's just a question of,
I like to see 18. I like to see 18 months here.
That'd be good.
So let's say we have 75 of these parts every day. That's 12. And maybe our expenses are a little bit less. Now you see negative numbers here, which means it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it means we got to increase the number of parts per day. We got to buy a
different laser. So this is 50 months is not enough 10 months is perfect. 18 months is sort of, that's what I like to see for a new laser, an 18-month ROI, because you're paying your expenses, which means you're going out for dinner, you're saving for vacations and whatnot too.
Living your life as as
Yeah,
you would normally. Yeah.
yeah. And so it's not like you're spending all your money on the laser, but I want to see this ROI here around 18 months on a brand new one. Now, if you're an already, established shop, I I often see this thing more like what we saw before, like 4 months, 5 months. I've seen one where it was a 2 month ROI, and we were like, well, we're literally wasting time talking about it when we could be ordering the machine. Like you're losing money every single second that you're not you're not
I'm
running this thing, and it was a no brainer. He was like, quickly, let's get this thing in my shop immediately. So
I had a great question here, James. Wondering if leasing the laser changes the way that the equation factors out at all, or are you still kind of going about it in the same sort of basic set of steps?
well, yeah, I mean, you can instead of changing this to a instead of changing this as
A total.
a total, you're doing a monthly.
Mhm.
So nobody likes to break. I mean, I don't like to break down leases into how much is the leasing cost, how much is the laser, because really all we're doing is we're renting, air quotes, renting the laser for a certain amount of time, and then we're paying a teeny tiny little buyout at the end. We're buying the laser at the end for 5% or $1 or what, however you.
Rent to own, however you want to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of our leases are all leased to own. I've never once had somebody say, "Well, I'm done with my lease. I'm giving the machine back." Like that would be crazy. In 5-year-old machine for $1,000. Like, come on. Um, Nobody does that. So you can either add up all the costs and cringe because there's a cost to leasing, to letting the machine pay itself off. There's definitely a cost to letting the machine pay itself off, but I personally don't want to. I don't want to add all that up. It's boring. I just put the monthly in there, because then you can rest easy and say, this is my monthly cost for a laser. It's just as simple as that. And then at the end of 5 years, then that that number goes away, and then you're like, wow, look at all the money I'm making.
Yep.
I've experienced the very same thing when I first went into business long ago. I leased a laser, and it was fantastic. I At the end of my 4-year lease, it was like sweet freedom. Like, look at all this money I have. Like, do I want to? And I still had a baby machine. In fact, that machine's still running. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. I thought
Yeah.
maybe it was making winemakers in the
I mean,
sky,
it's
but
it's not my machine. It's not my machine anymore. It belongs to. I sold it to someone. But yeah, I happen to know that machine still runs. But
that's
um,
awesome.
yeah, this is how we build. This is how we build an ROI. And if we want to, if the people want it, and they want to see, true, real, how I do a real ROI, because this was more about costing. We were talking more about how to get the cost of a part, how to
Yep.
set your price based on your factors, and not on you know what your customers or what your competition are charging, because your competition aren't doing this, or if they are, they're probably doing it wrong, right? Oh, somebody's gone black here. Am I talking
There we
about
go.
myself? Oh, there.
No, that's me. Sorry, I'm doing stuff that I'm just doing important stuff. So we're almost at the top of the hour here. I wanted to first and foremost, I believe you alluded to it a little bit in the stream there, and I think it's worth coming back to this topic. I think this is something we'd like to come back to, because the ROI is a separate piece that breaks off of costing, and I think is probably equally as important, if not perhaps more important in some ways. So if you guys would like to see that, of course, we would be happy to come back to that. I'm scrolling through to make sure we haven't missed any of the last questions for you. I would say, really quickly, James, is it fair to say, I mean, you tell me, but this sort of stuff I mean, yes, James's main goal every day is to sell lasers, 100%, and I don't think he would ever say otherwise.
No,
But
sure.
is this the sort of stuff that if a customer asks you, look, I'm trying to figure out what laser is right for me, can you do this sort of, can you work through this sort of equation with me?
Yeah.
You know, I want to encourage people not to hesitate to ask you about stuff like this. This isn't, you know, this is why we have the demos, the online demos, all this stuff. We want to help you figure this stuff out, you know?
Yeah, when you're looking for that machine, you need to know what you're going to make with it. And so I can't tell you what you're going to make with it, but I can show you what you can make with it. You know, if you you know, if you if you start thinking about purchasing this thing, you think, okay, well, what can I make with it? And you don't know this sort of formula. You're not used to building spreadsheets like this. Then I actually sit down with you, you know, before you buy that machine, and we can do that if that's something that you want to do. Some people already know this in advance, but I like to go through it whenever possible, because it's just the way you need to show people so that you can say, hey, listen, you're going to make money with this machine. Or at least, as I said at the very beginning of this live stream, it's all about numbers. You put those numbers in, you offer those numbers to your client. If they say yes, you continue, and if you do the job right, you'll be able to keep doing these numbers over and over again, and you'll just grow from there. um you know, there's obviously a little bit of luck involved with every business, but I don't like to
Absolutely.
look at I don't like to look at the luck factor. You can't really put that on a spreadsheet too much.
You can't count on that one way or the other. You might have incredible luck or bad luck, but you can't
Exactly.
guarantee either way. We have the contact info for James here up on the screen, but you can also reach us. I mean, if you're not necessarily in the BC area, you know, unfortunately, you won't get to talk with James, which is a bummer. But
Move here.
We have great salespeople. I'd love to. We have great salespeople all across the country. If you head to troteclaser.com, you can see our contact info there, and you can always get a hold of us. We're very happy to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
Lev popped it up on the screen. I'm going to bring it back here again too. Next week, we're going to have a great walkthrough on our galvo machines. We're going to do some really, really cool stuff with some of our speed markers, some of James' favorite machines.
It is my favorite machine.
We've got an amazing video on rubber stamps. We've got some really, really cool stories we can tell you guys about rubber stamps. It is a huge part of not only our history at Trotec, but, you know,
Sorry, I'm just going to add, it won't be a video. It'll be a live stream with Jason, our Trotec marketing manager.
Yes.
Cool. So we're going to doing some stamps as well. Sorry, just wanted to chime in.
Yes.
Cool, thanks.
I don't know if I said video. Lev's exactly right. It's a stream. All of these are going to be live streams coming up. And then the week after that, we have a tech corner. So we have some of our great tech staff that you've seen in videos on our YouTube channel. We're going to be coming in, doing some really cool stuff on the live stream. I don't want to give too much away because it's going to be cool. You'll see the e-blast coming out. I hope you'll subscribe to our newsletter. Yes, Lev?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, the tech's corner is going to be a discussion between techs. So we're going to have 3 technicians kind of sit down with Don and kind of discuss the issues a lot of customers have, talking about why you might consider something like Trocare for your extended warranty.
Like a panel discussion.
It'll be a panel discussion, answering questions, but you get to talk to the techs directly and ask them questions via chat. I mean, general maintenance, all that sort of stuff. We're kind of trying it out that week.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, it's a big part of what makes Trotec, right? So we hope you guys will come back for that. Our tech service is second to none, basically. So
we're trying to grow them trees.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. Like all sorts of different apples, legally distinct apples. And then after that, I think we're going to come back to the question of ROI. We're going to come back to an ROI part 2. So new streams coming every single week. Cool, great new people to meet from Trotec. Some of the older faces like myself and James that you've seen before. One thing I really quickly wanted to note, Lev mentioned about Trocare there just really quickly. Launching today, I believe any minute now, or 5 minutes ago perhaps, is a new Trocare offer that just went live, but it is an offer for all customers. Only Trocare customers will get a special bonus discount. So right now, until the end of the month, the next 10 days, so 21st until the 31st of January, we're giving 10% off on all laser lenses, across the board, speed markers, speedies, whatever it is, to all customers, purchase of any lens, and 25% off for Trocare customers. So an additional 15% off. Yes, thank you, Lev. That's a very important caveat, Canada only. An additional 15% off for Trocare customers. Just another way to hopefully.
If you have a Galvo, kids, apples, sorry.
Yes.
If you have a Galvo,
those Galvo trees,
and you want, if you have a 160 lens and you want the 254, this is the time to purchase that 254. And if you don't have Trocare yet, like literally, I think buying Trocare would almost
be offset by the difference,
because the cost of that 254 lens is huge, and
not to mention the fact that right now people with Trocare are also receiving free shipping on any materials order, so you might be able to package that lens in with a free ship materials order and get there's more than one. Usually there's 1 to 2 benefits, like Trocare benefits, on top of all the benefits that come just naturally with Trocare, just for being a part of Trocare every single month. More info on Trocare and cost or payment options. That is a great question. Perhaps Lev could link the brochure in the chat, or I could add it to the description of the YouTube video here. But we'd be very happy to reach out to you. James is exactly right. I actually, not wanting to give too much inside baseball here, but I called Lev yesterday before this went live to make sure this is all lasers, not just speedies. This is the Galvos as well. Like if you have a speed marker, this is the time to grab one of those lenses. If you're thinking about having a spare, it's a good deal.
No, it comes in really handy if you've been using the 160 for a long time, and to be able to switch between the 254 and the 160 is huge.
100%. And I think as part of a feature Galvo video, we really want to be able to show off what all the different lenses are capable of doing, that sort of thing. Sorry, Lev, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to add for Trocare, if you guys are in Canada and you go to that link, trocare.mytrotec.ca, you can sign up for Trocare, which is our extended warranty. It's bumper to bumper. Basically, if you have a machine up until year 7, anything older than that, we'd probably have to do a custom quote. But register there, and again, all parts and labor up to 350 kilometers from each of our locations. Am I missing anything we do a bunch of promos for Trocare customers every single month.
Absolutely. And that's only going to be increasing going forward. Again, we really hope that when you buy the Trotec machine, not only is it going to be the best laser you'll ever own, but we want you to be able to set it up. And once you're all trained and set up, that you can just start making money right away. Like James says, if you're not making money with it, it's a drain. So, it's designed to be right out of the box. We get you set up, we get you trained, and then you're good to go. And, ideally, we want you to be making money day one that you've got the laser running. So, having that Trocare and having that extra backup, should anything ever happen, which again, it rarely does, or we hope it doesn't, but it's just the extra, knowledge that like, if anything ever does happen, you're set.
Correct.
Cool.
Good. Well, I think I'm good. I'm ready for another coffee.
100%. Me too. I'd like to say again a huge thank you to Lev and James for joining me today. I think we've got some really, really great stuff. I hope you guys, if you showed up, partway through the live stream or whatever, no sweat. It'll always be up on our YouTube channel. You can track it down. Any questions you want to post on the YouTube comments, please do. We try and answer them as quickly and as efficiently as we can. And again, if you are in the BC area, I will just stress again, you can always get a hold of James by email or by giving him a call if this is the sort of thing that you'd like to look into for your business. 100%. I think we'd be really excited to talk to you.
I'll come out.
100%. Yeah. We'd like to get in the van again, right? Like we said. Trocare is the way to go. No coffee, James. Wine time. Thank you, Gary.
Gary, I'm on my way up to Carameus right now.
Yeah, just a quick reminder that he is 4 hours behind Eastern Standard Time, so it is a little early. 3 hours behind. 3 hours. Thank you. Yes, sorry, I'm trying to oversell James is up first thing. He wakes up in his suit, sits bolt upright. He's ready to stream. A huge thank you again to everybody who's watching today. As always, you guys had great questions, and we so appreciate you being here. We really hope we'll see you again next week. And, take care. Have a great week. All the best,
Bye,
everybody.
Ciao.
Bye.